interesting week. Hasn't it though? Shabbos. How you been? Shabbat shalom. Ooh, what did I do? Sorry. That was you? That was me. Oh, thank God. Wow.
Hi, everyone.
We haven't done this in a while, like see each other. This is brand new. It's the strangest thing in the world, right? You had your first service today at the home? Yeah, unbelievable. Wow.
Oh, that's amazing.
This is actually a sweet feeling.
It is good.
Very nice.
Very nice.
Yeah, please sing loud because it's so nice to hear voices instead of just looking at a computer.
All right, let's take a quick poll. Let's see who we are. How many people got Moderna? Raise your hand. All right, all the Moderna Jews are on this side. How many people got Pfizer? Ooh, good. How many people got? Anybody get Johnson and Johnson, AstraZeneca? Me. Hypovax? No.
Sinovac.
The Chinese one, Sinovac, right? My wife got Pfizer, I got Moderna, but we're making it work. Day by day, it's a struggle, but we're making it work. We're really glad you're here. Shabbat Shalom. Welcome. This is called Rimonim. This is our musical service. Some of you are old friends. Some of you are new friends. We're really glad you're here. So everybody stand up. Everybody stand up. It has been a long time since we've been back in synagogue without shields and masks and distancing and whatever we are, we're taking care of each other, but it's really good to see you. So turn to the folks next to you. Don't touch them, but wish them good Shabbos. Say hello. We're really glad you're here. We're really, really glad you're here. You're welcome to take a seat. Cantor. A little music.
I'm here.
Yeah, wherever you feel like singing.
You know, die is it's a Hebrew word. Die is a Hebrew word. It literally is, isn't it? Enough. Yada die 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 die. Yada die 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 die. Yada die 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 die. Yada die 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 die. Hi die die. Please rise as we bless the Shabbat candles. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam Asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu leharlikne shel Shabbat. Shalom Aleichem Malachei Hasharet Malachei Elyon Melech Malachei HaMalachim HaKadosh Baruch Hu Shalom Aleichem Malachei Hasharet Malachei Elyon Melech Malachei HaMalachim HaKadosh Baruch Hu Boachem Shalom Malachei Hashalom Malachei Elyon Shalom, Malachei Shalom, Malachei Elyon, Melech Malachei HaMalachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Baruch Hu Nil Shalom, Malachei Shalom, Malachei Elyon, Melech Malachei HaMalachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Zeitchem Shalom, Malachei Hashalom, Malachei Elyon, Malachei Hamlachim HaKadosh Baruch Hu Yai la 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 Yai la 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 Yai la 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 Yai la 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 Yai la 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 Yai la 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 Zeitchem Shalom Malachei Hashalom, Malachei Elyon, Melech Malachei Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu.
There was this fellow, who gave up on life. He had enough. Enough of work, enough of family, enough of the irritations and aggravations of life. And so he turned his eyes toward heaven and he said, Rabbeinu Shalom, Master of the world, take me to paradise. And God asked him, is that really what you want? And he said, with all my heart. God said, okay, it's not so far. Here's what you do. Leave the town, turn right, walk. You'll get there. How far? Promise you, you'll get there. So one afternoon, he closed the shop, left the village, turned right, and started walking. And he walked. And he walked all afternoon. And he walked into the evening. And the sun went down. And it got dark. And he decided he would rest for the night and continue the journey in the morning. And just before he fell asleep, he decided, wait a minute, I need to remember which is the way to paradise and which was the way home. He looked for a marker, but it was way too dark to find anything. So it occurred to him the easiest thing to do was leave your shoes by the side of the road, pointed toward paradise. And so he did. And he lied down under a tree and he fell into the deepest, most peaceful sleep. Now in life, I will tell you, sometimes, somehow, some way, shoes get turned around. How shoes get turned around, I can't tell you. You could be an imp, it could be an angel, it could be a squirrel, it could be a mistake, who knows? But shoes get turned around in life. And in the morning he rises from his rest, bathes in the stream, takes an apple from the tree, walks to the road, gets in his shoes, and starts walking, unbeknownst to him, homeward. Half a day's journey, on the next hill, he sees a village. My God, I've made it to paradise. It's paradise. He runs down the glen and up the hill and into the village and sits himself down in the middle of the village just to watch. What a marvelous place is paradise. Watching children on their way to school, watching grown-ups on their way to work, watching people on their way to the market, watching the life of the village, just taking it in. What a miraculous, spectacularly wondrous place is paradise. And he watches all day, and all day he sees nothing but wonders. And then it begins to get dark, and he begins to feel hungry, and a strange thought occurs to him. I wonder, paradise looks a little like my village. I wonder if there's a street like my street in paradise. And he walks, and just where he thought it was, that's where it is. And then he wonders, maybe there's a house, looks like my house in paradise. So he walks up the street, and just where he thought it might be, that's where it was. And at that very moment, a woman who looked remarkably like his wife came to the door, called out his name and said, "Come in, your soup is getting cold. There's a place set for me at the table of paradise." She says, "I don't know what you're talking about, but your soup is getting cold. Come on inside." He runs in the house. He walks in this house, sniffs the aroma of life in this house. It's so much better than where he came from. He sits down at the table, takes one spoonful of soup, puts it down, throws his arms around that woman and says, "You're an angel. Only God himself could have made a better soup. I have never in my life had a soup like this." She said, "Well, if you like it, I have a whole pot in the kitchen. Sit, finish, you know." And he finishes the soup, and he has another bowl, and he gets up from the table, and she says, "Let's go rest." And they go upstairs to rest. And it's the sweetest, most restful sleep he's ever known. And in the morning, she says, "You better get ready. You have to go to work." And he at first blenches, because how could there be work? But, even in the Garden of Eden, there was what to do. So he goes to work. But work in paradise wasn't like work at home. Work here in paradise had a sense of service and sharing of oneself with the community. And at the end of the day, he went back to that beautiful, loving home and back to that angel of a wife and another pot of soup. Do you know that old fool lived out all his days and never discovered that he hadn't made it to paradise? How on earth do you turn your shoes around? That's the great task of life. Because none of us is ever going to escape from the irritations and tasks and aggravations and work of life. It's just not going to happen. You can go away on vacation. You can go to Cancun. You can go to Puerto Vallarta. I have, by the way. You can go to Tahiti. You can go to Hawaii. But when you come back, you got to take the 405 from the airport, And 15 minutes on the 405, and you're back again, Like, you can't get away from it. So the question is, how do you change your head? Because that's the only way to do it, is how to change your head. How do you turn your shoes around? So that you can acquire and apprehend the experiences of life, not as a burden, but as a joy. So that the life of your home and the life of your work and the life of your relationships and the life of your encounters bring a sense of wonder, a sense of gratitude, a sense of possibility, and a sense of joy. Well, about 3,800 years ago, the Jewish people fell upon a technology for this. We call it Shabbos, Or if you're Ashkenazic, Shabbat, a Sabbath, a day away. A day away from the struggle of the economic world, a day away from the burdens of work, a day away in order to reflect back on the gifts of life, a day to say thank you for the sheer gift of breathing another day, a sheer day of sharing life with the people we love. And that's what we're here to celebrate. And if we're successful tonight, if this works, when you walk out of here, your shoes will be turned around. Kabbalat Shabbat. A set of hymns and prayers that welcome the Shabbos. You'll find the beginning on page 15 in the prayer book, in the blue prayer book.
Lechu neranena, lechu neranena, lechu neranena, l'Adonai. Lechu neranena, lechu neranena, lechu neranena, l'Adonai. Naria letzor yishenu kadma fanav betoda. Naria letzor yishenu virot naria lo. Lechu neranena, lechu neranena, lechu neranena l'Adonai. Lechu neranena, lechu neranena, lechu neranena l'Adonai. Ki el gadol Adonai, umelech gadol al kol Elohim. Ki el gadol Adonai, umelech gadol al kol Elohim. Lechu neranena, lechu neranena, lechu neranena l'Adonai. Lechu neranena, lechu neranena, lechu neranena l'Adonai. Naria letzor yishenu nekadma fanav betzoda. Naria letzor yishenu virot naria lo. Lechu neranena, lechu neranena, lechu neranena l'Adonai. Lechu neranena, lechu neranena, lechu neranena l'Adonai. 40 שנה הקוץ בדור, ואומרם טועה לבבהם, והם לא ידעו דרכי, אשר נשבעתי באפי, אם יבואון אל מנוחתי.
On January 1st, 2000, the New York Times published 3 front pages. They published the front page of the paper on January 1st, 1900. They published the contemporary front page of 2000, and they published a mock-up of the front page of the paper January 1st, 2100. It turns out that January 1st, 2100 is a Friday. So at the bottom of the page, the editor of the New York Times put the Shabbos candle lighting time. And he was asked about this on NPR. And he said, you know, I know what happened on that January 1st, 1900. I have that paper. And I know pretty much what happened on January 1st, 2000. That's today. But I have no idea what January 1st, 2100 is going to look like, except for one thing. I am very certain that on Friday night, January 1st, 2100, Jewish families are going to gather around candles and welcome the Shabbos. Of everything on the front page of the paper, that's the only thing I can be sure of. So I put it on the paper. We light candles. Why do you light candles? Because there's a wonderful tradition that when God created the world, God started with light. And that light was powerful light. It was the light of creativity, of possibility, of potential, pure potential. That light would have overwhelmed the whole world, so God put it away. He hid it away. But he hid it in a place that only those who have pure hearts and ready hands and open minds can find it. And the book of Psalms teaches that. You'll find it at the bottom of page 17. Or Zaru ala tzaddik. The light of creation is hidden away for the tzaddik, for the righteous. Uli yishrei leiv simcha. And for those who are full of heart, there is joy. Simchu tzaddikim badonai. So be joyful in God's presence. Hodu lezecher kodsho.
Or zaru ala tzadik, uleishreil simcha simcha la 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 la. Or zaru ala tzadik, uleishreil simcha simcha la 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 la. Or zaru ala tzadik, uleishreil simcha simcha la 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 la. Ratzari, Ule Yisrael, Simcha, Simcha, la 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 la. Or Zarua, Ratzari, Ule Yisrael, Simcha, Simcha, Simcha. Or Zarua, Ratzari, Ule Yisrael, Simcha, Simcha, la 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 la. Or Zaru ala tzadik, ule Yisrael, simcha simcha la 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 la. Or Zaru ala tzadik, ule Yisrael, simcha simcha la 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 la. Or Zaru ala tzadik, ule Yisrael, simcha simcha la 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 la. Tzadik, ule Yisrael, simcha, simcha, la 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 la. Or Zaru ala tzadik, ule Yisrael, simcha, simcha, la 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 la.
We're not known as one of the great seafaring peoples of the world, Jews. Norwegians, yes. Icelanders, Danes, even the British. Jews, yeah, they're accountants, that sort of thing. But we live near a sea, a great sea. And there were great seafarers, great Jewish sailors. There are interesting stories about many of them. You ever gone sailing? Anyone ever gone sailing?
Yeah.
If you lived on the East Coast and you went to summer camp, you learned how to sail, right? Anyone go to East Coast summer camp or Midwest summer camp? Bruce, you learn how to sail? It's a really interesting. We spent a summer in Canada. Coldest winter I ever spent was a summer in Ontario, Canada. And I learned how to sail. And it's a remarkable experience. It's a great metaphor for life. Because it's you and the boat and the wind and the sail, and that's it. And that's it. And you can't manipulate it. You just have to let it go. You have to let it take you where you want it to take you. And what happens at the end of the day is the wind starts to blow and the waves start to rock and the boat starts to go back and forth. And you begin to feel that I'm part of something bigger than myself. And it's taking me where it wants me to go. And that's the feeling the psalmist gives us at the bottom of page 18. So get on the boat, everybody get on the boat. It's late in the afternoon and the wind is blowing. Everybody got to rock a little bit. Rock a little bit. Come on, rock a little bit. There you go. Well, you better get the sail up because we're going to have to sail back to the shore before the wind gets too heavy and before the sun goes down. Feel life take you where it wants you to go now. Don't resist. Don't push back. Go with it. Feel the speed of the boat, the wind in your face and the sun on your back.
Ram Hayamu Milo,
Ram Hayamu Milo,
Ram Hayamu Milo,
Ram Hayamu Milo.
Te vilve yoshveva, Ram Hayamu Milo.
Don't let go of the sail.
Ram Hayamu Milo,
Ram Hayamu Milo,
Ram Hayamu Milo,
Ram Hayamu Milo.
Te vilve yoshveva, Ram Hayamu Milo. Nirarim Chachaf, Yachararim Yeraneinu. Nirarim Chachaf, Yachararim Yeraneinu. Yeram Hayamu Milo,
Ram Hayamu Milo,
Yeram Hayamu Milo. Elve Yoshveva, Yeram Hayamu Milo. Ne'arorim Chachaf, Yachararim Yeraneinu. Ne'arorim Chachaf, Yachararim Yeraneinu. Yeram Hayamu Milo,
Ram Hayamu Milo,
Yeram Hayamu Milo.
Ram Hayamu Milo.
Tevil ve'yoshvevo, Yeram Hayamu Milo.
I watch my kids learn how to walk. Anyone watch their kids learn how to walk? Remember that moment? They're crawling around the living room floor. They crawl all around the living room floor, and then the kid finds one of the pieces of furniture, pulls himself up on the coffee table, turns around, gives you this big smile like, watch this, Pop. Let's go. Takes one step out into space, and bam, on the floor. Doesn't cry. Doesn't cry. Pulls himself back up to the coffee table. Pulls himself up. Gives you the same smile. Takes one step out into open space. Bam! On the floor. You have Rahmanis. You say, kid, stay down, babe. It's not worth it, man. You'll learn how to drive soon enough. Just stay down. Like you don't need to get up. It's too painful. He says, no. I got to do this. I got to do this. Pulls himself up. Takes 2 steps out. Takes 3 steps out. How many times in your life have you taken a step away from the coffee table? How many times in your life did you take a step away from what was secure and easy and well-known into an unknown, a place where there were forces acting on you like gravity that you couldn't compromise with? How many times did you enter a circumstance that you couldn't be 100% sure was going to work, but you knew, I had to make this step, otherwise I'll stay stuck on the ground forever. And you give yourself the strength, and you take a breath, and you say, God, lead me, and you let go, and you take a step, and you fall down, but you pick yourself up, and you start walking again. It's the most remarkable thing in the world. It's remarkable that any one of us walks. It's remarkable that any one of us gets married. It's remarkable that any one of us starts a business. It's remarkable that any one of us builds a home and a family. It's remarkable that any one of us steps out into the open space of life with all of its vulnerability and takes another step and another step and another step. And with each step, what we don't know is we're moving upward. We're becoming more. We're becoming more powerful, more stronger, more confident. We're becoming more. The song of becoming more. Ramemu Adonai Eloheinu. Let's walk together. Let's take a step. Let's have faith we can do this. And if we fall, we'll pick each other up and we'll keep walking. Together, Mizmor LeDavid.
You may be seated. Lecha dodi lekrat kala b'nei Shabbat nikavela lecha dodi lekrat kala b'nei Shabbat nikavela Shamor v'zachor b'dibor echad Yishmi'anu el hamyuchad Adonai echad u'shemo echad Shemul tiferet v'litila lecha Lekrat kala b'nei Shabbat nikavela Lecha dodi lekrat kala b'nei Shabbat nikavela Lo temoshi velo Matishtachachi u'matzemi Bach yechasu ani yeoni Benim neta irhaltila Lecha dodi lekrat kala Lekrat kala b'nei Shabbat nikavela Lecha dodi lekrat kala b'nei Shabbat nikavela Yamin u'shmol Tifrosi Be'et Adonai Tauritzi Al Yarish Ben Parzi Benismecha Ben Agila Lecha dodi Lekrat kala b'nei Shabbat nikavela Lecha dodi lekrat kala b'nei Shabbat nikavela Boi v'shalom ateret malah Kam v'simcha umsola Shabbat the Kabbalat.
Please be seated. Psalm 92 is designated Mizmor Shir Leyom HaShabbos. It is the song of the Sabbath day. Although Sabbath isn't mentioned anywhere in the psalm, it's the song of the Sabbath day for the first line and the last line. The first line, Tov lahodot ladonai lezamer l'shimcha elyon. It is good to give thanks. It is good to look into the world and find what to have gratitude for. It is good to appreciate the gifts of life. It is good to wake up and go to sleep and realize that life is a gift. And the last line is a vision of what life could be if one lived a certain kind of life. Hagid ki ashar Adonai suri v'lo avlat tabo. What would it be like to live a life so that on your last day in the world, your great-great-grandchildren gather around your bed and they ask you, "Nu Zayda, nu Baba, was it worth it?" And you smile at them and said, "It was great. It was great. It was just great." How would you have to live each day so that your last day you were able to say, with all the trials and all the ordeals and all the struggles of being alive, life is still a gift. Tov lahodot ladonai ulezamer l'shimcha elyon. We invite those who recite the Kaddish in memory of loved ones, observance of yahrzeit, to stand for a moment and join us as we remember our loved ones, gather their presence in, hold them close and hear their voices and feel their presence. Yitkadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabbah. Yalmad yivrach yirutei v'yamlich malchutei b'chai echon v'yom v'chai dechol Beit Yisrael. Ba'agalau v'zman kari v'yimru amen. Yehei shmei Rabbah mevarach le'olam omeil maya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitrumam v'yitnasei. V'yithadar v'yitaleh v'yithalal shemei dekut shebrichu. Le'elam min kol birchata v'shirata tushbechata v'nechemata. Damiran ve'ama v'yimru amen. Yehei shlama rabba min shemaya. V'chayim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'yimru amen. Oseh shalom b'mromav v'yaseh shalom. Aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'yimru amen. And ask everyone to please stand and join the cantor as we begin the evening part of the service with the Baruch Hu, page 28.
Yada dai dai dai, 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 yada dai dai dai. Baruch Hu et Adonai, HaMevorach. Baruch Adonai, HaMevorach, Le'olam Va'ed. Yada dai dai dai, 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 yada dai dai dai. Baruch Adonai, HaMevorach, Le'olam Va'ed.
Let's be seated. Baruch atah melech haolam. Asher bidvaro mari v'arei v'brachmater.
ומעביר יום ומביא לילה, ומבדיל בין יום ובין לילה, אדוני צבאות שמו. אל חי וקיים תמיד ימלוך עלינו לעולם ועד. ברוך אתה אדוני המרי ורבי. אהבת עולם בית ישראל עמך אהבת תורה ומצוות חוקים ומשפטים אותנו למענתה. על כן אדוני אלוהינו בשובנו ובקומנו נשיח בחוקנה ונשמח בדברי תורתך ולמצוותיך לעולם ועד. כי הם חיינו באורך ימינו, באורך ימינו, ובהם נגד יומם ולילה. ועבדך אל תסיר ממנו לעולמים, ברוך אתה אדוני אוהב עמו Yisrael. Please join us for Shema. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודיך, והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך, ושיננתם לבניך ודיברת בם בשבתך וביתך ובלכתך בדרך ובשוכבך ובקומך, וקשרתם להיות על ידיך, והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך. והיה אם שמוע תשמע מצוות אשר אנוכי מצווה אתכם. ושמת לדברכם. ויאמר אדוני אל משה לאמור, דבר אל בני ישראל, ואמרת עליהם, ויעשו להם ציצית על כנפי בגדיהם לדורותם, ונתנו על ציצית הכנף בתיל תכלת, והיה לכם לציצית, וריתם אותו, וזכרתם את כל מצוות אדוני, ועשיתם אותם, ולא תטורו אחרי לבבכם ואחרי עיניכם, אשר אתם זונים אחריהם, למען תזכרו, ועשיתם את כל מצוותי, והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים, להיות לכם לאלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אדוני אלוהיכם. Amen.
The formative experience of this people took place in a place called Egypt. We were slaves. Our parents were slaves. Their parents were slaves. And then one day this fellow shows up. His name is Moses. And he looks like us, but didn't talk like us, because he was free. And suddenly we discovered that there was an alternative to being a slave. We'd been slaves for so long, we forgot that there was any alternative. We'd been slaves for so long that we began to think that's where we belonged as slaves. We were slaves for so long that we gave up all hope. And suddenly this guy shows up and said, pack your things, we're going to leave. And we packed our things. I hear music. It's glorious. It's the Lord speaking to us. Hallelujah. I only wish he wouldn't call collect. That's the only problem. So he said, pack your things, we're going to go. And according to the tradition, 4 out of 5 of us said, nah, it'll only get worse. 4 out of 5 of us, or rather 4/5 of each of us, said, I can't believe in it. But there was a piece of each of us that said, we could be something else. And that's a powerful liberation, that moment when you say, I can be something else. And we followed him out of Egypt and crossed the Red Sea and got to the other side. And on the other side of the Red Sea, when we turned back, Pharaoh's police weren't chasing us anymore. And we suddenly had this revelation. Now the question is, what does an experience like that do to you? A people who is enslaved and suddenly liberated could become enslavers themselves. We were put down, let's go put someone else down. A people who has been enslaved and suddenly liberated can become bitter and angry and hopeless, deeper hopeless. But we made a different decision. We decided that it was our sacred task to bring the whole world out of Egypt, or rather, to bring the Egypt out of everyone who walks the world, because we decided that it was no accident that we were free. It's an expression of a God who loves freedom, a power in the universe that loves the dignity of human beings, that cherishes each human being, that there's something more than just the material conditions of master and slave, oppressor and victim. That there is something in the world pushing us up from slavery into the world, into freedom. And we sang a song at that moment. And that song was so decisive, recognizing that power, that it was included in every service we ever do. It's on page 32. Mi chamocha ba'elim Adonai. And in fact, this is the melody that my great-grandfather in Lithuania used to sing when he got together with his friends and jammed in the yeshiva of Volozhin, Zhitomar. They had a hot guitar and a Sephardic guy on an electric guitar, a drummer from Topanga Canyon. This is how they used to sing the traditional Jewish prayer.
Lay, 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 lay.
You're not supposed to pray for anything on Shabbos. So the only thing we ask for is peace. For peace and protection and a night of quiet and a morning of renewal. Page 33. Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu l'shalom. Let us lie down tonight in peace. V'amidenu malkenu l'chaim. And raise us up tomorrow to life. Ufros aleinu sukat shlomecha. Spread above us a shelter of your peace. V'tachnenu b'etz hatova milfanecha. V'osheinu leman shemecha. V'yagen b'yadenu v'yaser mi'aleinu. Oyev dever v'cherev v'rav v'yagon. Remove all that threatens us, and all that ruins, and all that frightens us in the darkness of the night. Ve'aser satan milfanenu mi'acharenu v'tzel kanafecha tastirenu. Ki el shomrenu matzilenu ata ki el melech chanun v'rachum ata. U'shmor tzeitzenu v'oenu l'chaim l'shalom yata v'yadolam. Guard us as we go out into the world, and bring us home in peace. Ufros aleinu sukat shlomecha baruch ata Adonai, hapore sukat shalom aleinu ve'al kol amo Yisrael ve'al Yerushalayim. We rise together. The commandment to make the Shabbos v'shamru b'nei Yisrael, page 34.
V'shamru b'nei Yisrael et HaShabbat. Et HaShabbat Lasot et HaShabbat Ledorotam Beritolam Beini uvein b'nei Yisrael Oti leolam Beini uvein b'nei Yisrael Oti leolam V'shamru b'nei Yisrael et HaShabbat et HaShabbat Ledorotam Beritolam Ki sheshet yamim Asarunai et HaShamayim Ve'et ha'aretz V'shamru b'nei Yisrael et HaShabbat Lasot et HaShabbat Ledorotam Beritolam V'ayom ha'shvi'i Shabbat va'inafash Shabbat va'inafash Shabbat va'inafash V'shamru b'nei Yisrael et HaShabbat Lasot et HaShabbat Ledorotam Beritolam V'shamru b'nei Yisrael et HaShabbat Lasot et HaShabbat Ledorotam Beritolam Yitgadal v'yitkadash Shemei Ramah Be'alma divrach yirutei ve'amlich malchutei V'chayechon uvyomechon Uchaye dechol Beit Yisrael Bagala Uvizman karim V'yimaru Amen. Yehei Shmei Rabba Mevarach Le'alam u'lalmei almaya Yitbarach V'yishtabach V'yitba'ar v'yitromam v'yitnasei V'yitadar v'yitaleh ויתהלל שמי דקודשא בריחו לעילה מן כל ברכתה ושירתה תושבחתה ונחמתה דמירן בעלמא ויאמרו Amen.
Take a few moments now for personal quiet prayer. You can read the words of the Amidah beginning on page 35. There's actually a lovely meditation about the Amidah on page 39, or just a few quiet moments of your own personal meditation. A little quiet prayer. As you finish your prayers, you're welcome to be seated. It's okay, it's okay. Let him sing.
Singing.
Let him sing. This is the part of the show. Let him sing.
This pizmon, this piyut, Tzuri Goalia, written by the great poet of Sephardic Judaism, Rabbi Yisrael Najara, 16th century poet, that wrote so many of the songs that we sing. This one, Tzuri Goalia, it's a song of redemption that echoes the words at the end of the Amidah, Adonai Tzuri Vegoali, God, you are my rock and my redeemer. So the words are Tzuri Goalia, Maher veha heshpedut, Ya'ala Yefefia. צורי גואליה, צורי גואליה, מהר והחשפדות יעלה יפפיה. צורי גואליה, צורי גואליה, מהר והחשפדות יעלה יפפיה. יושבה ברוב פחד בין שיני לבייה, השחמולו בניה הוציאה לרוויה. צורי גואליה, צורי גואליה, מהר והחשפדות יעלה יפפיה. צורי גואליה, צורי גואליה, מהר והחשפדות יעלה יפפיה. אדון חישו בשר שעור עניה, התפתח מוסר על סבר שבייה. צורי גואליה, צורי גואליה, מהר והחשפדות יעלה יפפיה. צורי גואליה, צורי גואליה, מהר והחשפדות יעלה יפפיה. ריבה ירים בהרבה עליליה, ותנהדר הטירתם לשמה ושעיה. צורי גואליה, יפהפייה, צורי גואליה, צורי גואליה, מהר והחשבדות יעלה יפה. Everyone, צורי גואליה, צורי גואליה, צורי גואליה, מהר והחשבדות יעלה יפהפייה, צורי גואליה, צורי גואליה, מהר והחשבדות יעלה יפהפייה, צורי גואליה, צורי גואליה, מהר והחשבדות יעלה יפהפייה, צורי גואליה, צורי גואליה, מהר והחשבדות יעלה יפהפייה.
Please rise for Kiddush. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei peri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav v'ratzavanu Shabbat kodsho ve'ahava uvratzon hinchilanu zikaron lema'aseh v'reishit ki hu yom techila lemikra'e kodesh zecher litziat Mitzrayim ki banu macharta ve'otanu Mikol Hamid Shabbat Kodshecha Ve'ahava Uvratzon Inchaltanu Baruch atah Adonai Mekadesh HaShabbat. Aleinu l'shabeach l'adon hakol, l'atid gedula le'yotzer v'reshit, shelo asanu kegoyei ha'aratzot, v'lo samanu kemishpechot ha'adama. Come on, everybody! Aleinu, Aleinu, Sam Chelkeinu, Chelkeinu Gahen, Or Aleinu, Kechol Ha'amonam, Velo Sam Chelkeinu, Chelkeinu Gahen, Or Aleinu, Kechol Ha'amonam. Everybody now, Aleinu, 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 משתחווים ומונים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא. עלינו, 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 Adonai Himloch le'olam ba'ed. echad u'shmo echad. Aleinu, 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 aleinu,
Take a moment to remember loved ones tonight. The words of the Kaddish are found on page 52. We'll invite those who recite Kaddish in memory of loved ones' observance of a yard site to please remain standing. Everyone else may please be seated. This week, our community notes with the deepest sadness the passing of Clark Weissman. Clark was a character. Clark was an MIT-trained engineer who joined our technology committee and was one of those responsible for the fact that VBS had one of the first synagogue websites in the world. Clark and his late wife Elaine was also patrons of folk music here in Southern California. They were the founders of the California Traditional Music Society and would hold concerts in their living room, put on a whole folk festival every year, and patron to many folk musicians. We remember Clark with great love. As well, we remember Avi Bergman. Avi Bergman was the son of Bella and Rabbi Benzi Bergman, and Avi died, unfortunately, very tragically and young, of a terrible cancer and kidney disease. Avi's the husband of Nancy and the father of Alexa and the brother of Aviva Ding Bergman. Avi was a spirit, a wise and loving and giving spirit in all the things he did and in all the people he ever met. And, of course, the very sad, tragic news from Florida. If you know anything about North Miami, it's where Bubbies and Zetas go to live. And an apartment building of 12 stories. Each one of those buildings has its own Hadassah chapter. And what's going to happen in the days to come is we're going to hear terrible, terrible, tragic stories of how many of the grandmothers and grandfathers were taken in that terrible tragedy, the building that collapsed. So our hearts are with those families as they wait news of their loved ones and as they pray for some good news. And we pray that those have been lost, their families have peace as they remember them in blessing. The words of the Kaddish are found on page 52. Yitgadal v'yitkadash shemei rabbah. Ve'alma divrachi rutei v'yamlich malchutei. V'chayechon v'yom echon v'chayei dechol beit Yisrael. Bagalau v'zman kariv v'yimru amen. Yehei shmei rabbah mevarach le'olam olmei olmaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh. V'yithadar v'yitalev v'yitalal shemei dekut shabrichu. Le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata. Tush bechata v'nechemata. Damiran be'alma v'yimru amen. Yehei shlama rabba min shemaya. V'chayim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'yimru amen. Oseh shalom b'mromav huyaseh shalom. Aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'yimru amen. Please be seated. It is a joy to welcome you. I know we're a little giddy tonight, but it's because we just haven't had a chance to do this very much. It has been, to our count, 68 Shabbases, 68 Sabbaths since we closed down. And now finally we're able to open up and to be together. It is a great, wonderful joy. So a real big thank you to our wonderful Chazanim, to Jamie, to Cantor Phil, and to Asher. Thank you so much for your music and your spirit and your joy. And thank you to everyone who's joined us tonight. Now, here's the bad news. We're all going on vacation. We'll see you in August. We will have all the services at VBS are now open. You don't have to register. If you do need to be masked when we have kids around. We don't want any kids to get sick. But you're all welcome to come every Friday night at 6 o'clock. Yossi will be here. One of us will be here. We'll have a lovely service. And we'll continue this kind of service, a musical service, in August?
Yes, we're going to try to do one in August.
Yes, we're going to do one in August, yeah.
We're going to do one in August.
You're coming back.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
All right, good.
I don't know.
All right, we're going to do it in August sometime. Shabbos morning, tomorrow morning, there's a bat mitzvah. It's wonderful. And then Shabbos morning, every Shabbat morning at 10 o'clock, every Friday night at 6 o'clock, during the week, morning and evening minyan. We didn't miss a day of minyan in 68 weeks. Well, we did miss one day. One day, somebody screwed up the schedule, and we didn't have minyan. But the next day, we got it wrong, and two of us led minyan online. So we get credit for having not missed minyan for one day. So there's a morning service and an evening service. It's 8:30 on Sunday mornings and holidays like 4th of July, 7:30 every weekday morning, 6 o'clock every night, 10 o'clock on Shabbos morning. And we really would be delighted to have you come and pray with us, learn with us, and celebrate Shabbos with us. So big thank you to everyone who came out tonight to celebrate. Thank you for bringing the kids and letting us hear their music, which is just joyful. And we wish everybody a really, really wonderful summertime. Stay healthy, stay well, be careful of the heat, take care of yourselves. Come back and join us for a whole year next year of Shabbos. We'll be doing this twice a month, I think, during the course of the year, starting in August, September, August, something like that. Something like that. High holidays are the day after tomorrow, by the way. In case you didn't know. No, I'm serious. No, it's true. Labor Day. Rosh Hashanah starts the night of Labor Day. That Monday, August 28th, is Slichas. It's the day after tomorrow. I mean, my God. Who makes up these schedules, Rabbi? No kidding. Yeah, the butcher shops, they hate us. They're terrible. So you're going to hear the same sermon I gave last year because I don't have time to write. I don't know. Anyway, everyone stand up. Everyone take a big deep breath. Say good Shabbos.
Yes. ואחרי ככלות הכל לבדו ימלוק נורו והוא היה והוא הווה והוא יהיה בתפארה אדון עולם אשר מעלה בטרם כל יציר נברא עת נעשה חפצו כל אזי מלך שמו נקרא ובידו להפקיד רוחי ראיתי שם ויועירה עם רוחי יביאתי אדוני לי ולא יירא אדון עולם אשר מלך בטרם כל יציר נברא ועת נעשה חפצו כל אזי מלך שמו נקרא אדון עולם אשר מלך בטרם כל יציר נברא ועת נעשה חפצו כל אזי מלך שמו נקרא אדון עולם אשר מלך בטרם כל יציר נברא ועת נעשה חפצו כל אזי מלך שמו נקרא.
Shabbat Shalom. Because of the construction, you have to go out the way you came in. So you go up the hallway, make a right. If you get lost, go up to my office. I'll be back at 10 o'clock in the morning.